Shalom, Israel. This is Bishop Nathaniel. The Israelites have been scattered across the four corners of the earth, as prophesied in Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter. Here at Israel United in Christ, we need your help to recover the remnant of our people, teach them the gospel. Please help us, support us, and join or donate to the Booster Club today. Shalom.
My commandment.
Hey, bro, what's your name?
Jamar.
Jamar? All right, Officer Uriah, man. Nice to meet you, man. It's not a coincidence that you came up here, man. God brought you up here, man.
That's right.
You understand? You look at that sign. What's your nationality? You call yourself African American? African American? Look at that sign right here. This is what God calls you.
Right.
God calls you Judah. You are Israelite from the tribe of Judah.
Right.
You understand that? You're not African American. Because when you call yourself African American, you're calling yourself after two white men.
Right.
Leo Scipio Africanus, he discovered Africa.
Right.
He named it after himself. America Vespucci, Italian conqueror who conquered America, who named it after himself.
Right.
You understand? So Jesse Jackson gave us that name in 1985.
Right.
He called us African American. Before that, we was Afro American.
Right.
You understand? And color. We're the only people that our nationality changes. You know what I'm saying? Every 10 years it changes. Yeah. So why do you think that we in a lower state right now? Why do you think wherever you travel, we fill up the ghettos and the hoods?
More of us.
Huh?
More of us. Like more of us instead of more white people, more black people. And they feel like that since we're taking over, since there's more of us, then we're basically taking over what they think that they can take over, and they can't. And they just mad. That's basically. That's my experience of it.
Okay. So that's the reason why we on the bottom, because it's more of us and we're better than them, basically. Well, you're right. We are better than them. Give me Deuteronomy 7 and 6. I'm gonna show you that what you're saying is 100% right.
Yes,
we are better than them. Right. God said that we are.
Right.
Read what you got.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7 and verse 6. But thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself.
So the Lord thy God, the God of Israel, the black Messiah, he said that we are a chosen people.
Right.
He chose us to be special unto himself.
Right.
You understand that? What you say your name was again? Jamar. Listen close.
Above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
Didn't you just say that? God said that we are above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
That's right.
Do you believe that?
Yes,
God said it. So we're supposed to believe it. Not only are we supposed to believe it, we're supposed to act the part.
Right.
You understand? Read it.
Verse 7. The Lord did not set his love upon you, nor choose you, because you were more in number than any people.
So he didn't choose us because we was more in number, like you said, right? Read.
But ye were the fewest of all people. But because the Lord loved you.
Because the Lord loved you, Jamar. That's the reason why he chose us. You understand? So, the reason, give me Deuteronomy 28, 15.
Bring it out.
Because what we're going to go over now, we're going to go over some curses.
Right.
This is the reason why we in this captivity that we in. You understand that? Read.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
So, this is future prophecy. He said, it shall come to pass if you don't hearken, if you don't listen to the Most High God. So,
to observe, to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So Jamal, he said, if we didn't listen to the Most High God, all these curses was going to come upon the Israelites. This is a nation of people that Moses is talking to.
Teach!
You understand? So he said all these curses, is curses a good or a bad thing? It's a bad thing, right? So one of the curses is, give me Deuteronomy 28. Let's start with 28. I mean 68. So Jamal, how did we get over here? What way of transportation did our people get over here?
Bring it out!
The world?
A boat.
A boat, right? A ship, right?
Right.
All right. So what we're going to read to you is a curse that's in the Bible. This is our history book. You understand? This happened to us. You hold that sign up right there as you read it? Yeah.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
So Moses is telling the Israelites, he said he's going to bring you into Egypt again. The first time we was in Egypt, hey Jamal, listen up. He said the first time we was in Egypt, we was in slavery, right?
Bring it out.
We was in hard bondage.
Teach.
So he said, I'm going to bring you into Egypt again, right? We're going to find out what Egypt means.
Bring it out. The book of Exodus, chapter 20 and verse 2. I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage.
What did he call Egypt?
The house of bondage.
What did he call Egypt?
The house of bondage.
What did he call Egypt?
The house of bondage.
So what's another word for bondage? So if I was to take your hands and bond them together, yeah, what would you be?
Locked up.
Locked up. So another word for bondage is slavery.
Right.
Then we have shackles on our
Teach.
on our ankles and on our hands.
Bring it out.
See that? See that? That happened to us.
Teacher.
One nation of people, that happened to us. We're the Israelites.
That's right.
This right here that we're reading to you right now is the curses.
Right.
You understand? This is our history. This didn't happen to the white man, the so-called Jews, this Jewish people that's over there now, occupying that land. It didn't happen to them.
Right.
It only happened to us, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. You understand, Jamal? So what we're reading to you, this is the curses that fell upon us. Why? Because we didn't keep the laws of God. We didn't keep the commandments.
Right.
You understand? Right. So you said we got over here by what way of transportation? By boats, right? Let's see if it's in the Bible.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
With what?
With ships.
With ships. When did it happen? We're reading the Bible. This is the King James Version Bible. This is our history. It said it would bring us into Egypt. What do Egypt mean? The house of what?
The house of
bondage. Another word for bondage is what?
Locked up.
Slavery. You understand? So he said he was going to bring us into slavery again by the way of ships. Cargo slave ships.
Right.
This wasn't the carnival. It wasn't a cruise ship.
Right.
Bring it out.
You understand, Jamal? This happened to us. We was stacked up like sardines.
Right.
People, look, if you was on the top and you had to use the bathroom, where you think that pee will go?
Bring it out.
It'll fall on him.
Bring
It'll
it
fall on
out.
her. Right. You understand? People was pregnant on those boats.
Bring
We
it
was
out.
having babies on those boats.
Right.
You understand? People was dying on those boats.
Bring it out.
It was death in those boats. This happened to us. Read.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you.
So he said when we got off those slave ships, we'd be sold to our enemies.
Right.
You understand? When we got off these slave ships, who was we sold to? Who?
White people.
The white people. And that's a fact. This is not a hate campaign. You understand? That's a fact. That's history. We were sold into the white man.
Right.
The Bible said, what did he say? Who did he call them? We'd be sold into who?
And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies.
So what did God call them?
won't be trying to.
What do God cut? He said when we got off those slave ships, we be sold to our what? Our enemies.
That's right.
Not our friends.
Right.
Friends don't hang friends.
Bring it on!
Friends don't cut pregnant women's stomachs open
Bring it
and use
on!
the babies for alligator bait.
Bring it on, right?
Friends don't cut the nut sacks and use the skin for wallets
Right.
and purses. Friends don't do that.
Hey.
You understand? Read.
Sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you.
So he said we'll be sold to our enemies for bondmen, slave men, and slave women.
Right.
You understand? And nobody would be able to buy us. Buy, it means to redeem.
Right.
Nobody will be able to save us. Because you got Malcolm X, he tried to save us.
Right.
You got Martin Luther King, he tried to save us.
Right.
You got Barack Obama, who said he was coming for change. He was trying to save us.
Right.
The only thing he did was approve homosexual, same-sex marriage.
Right.
Bring it
You
on.
understand? So it wasn't no change.
See, John?
He just went contrary to the Bible.
Right.
You understand? So what we got to do, we got to come back to keeping God's laws.
Right.
So that's part of our history. So give me Deuteronomy 28:64. Because it said, once we got off those slave ships, we'd be sold to our enemies, right? Read.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 64. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people from the one end of the earth, even unto the other.
So once we got off those slave ships, we were scattered. You understand? Give me that sign right there. So once we got off those slave ships, we were scattered. So we came from Africa, right? So some people went into South America. Some people went into North America. So when we look at Puerto Ricans today, Mexicans today, we're the same people. The only difference was a boat ride.
Right.
You understand? They got dropped off at a different place. But we was in captivity, more or less. You understand? So, read that again from the top.
And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people from the one end of the earth, even unto the other. And there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone.
So he said once we got scattered, we was going to serve other gods, even wood and stone. So the wood represents Christianity.
Bring it
the
out.
cross. The stone is Islam. Mecca, as the Kaaba stone. You understand that? Those are the two major religions that our people are in today.
Bring it out.
Man-made religion.
Right.
God gave us laws. You understand? We're not supposed to be into no Baptist, Pentecostal, Jehovah's Witness, all these Islam. You know, understand? Those are man-made religion.
Right.
Bring it out.
You understand? We are the children of God. He gave us the laws for inheritance. You understand? Like, what's a heritage?
Like, basically, your religion.
17.
Yeah. What do you think a heritage is?
I think it's called religion. Like, it's another word for like.
Let me put it like this,
History.
Jamal. What would be the so-called blacks and Hispanics today? What would be our heritage? Our customs. What would be our customs?
Culture.
Our culture.
Bring it out.
I don't.
You know why you don't know? Because we don't have none.
That's right.
Our culture
Bring it
is
out.
whatever the so-called white man do.
Right.
You understand? We envy our oppressors. That's the reason why you celebrate Christmas,
Bring it out.
Thanksgiving. You understand? Easter, Valentine's Day. All these holidays are for your oppressors. Those are not, you won't find neither one of those in the Bible.
That's right.
You understand? Because it's not in there, because we was given high holy days.
Right.
We was given the Passovers, New Moon,
Right.
Feast of Dedication, Feast of Tabernacles. You never heard of none of that, right? Because this is of God. We don't know because we doing the things of this world.
Right. Sirach, or Ecclesiasticus, chapter 17 and verse 11. Besides this, he gave them knowledge and the law of life for an heritage.
So he gave us the laws as a heritage. We're going to go over some laws in a little bit, but right now, Jamal, I'm trying to prove to you that you are an Israelite.
Right.
If your spirit bears witness with these curses, you are an Israelite. You
Right.
understand that? And go back to Deuteronomy. 64.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 64. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, from the one end of the earth even unto the other. And there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known.
So our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, they didn't know these new gods that we worshiping today. They didn't know Islam. They didn't know Christianity. If you was to tell our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, that Christ was a white man, they'll look at us like you crazy. Christ was black. You didn't know that? Give me Revelations 1 and 14. We're gonna find today. We're gonna do a process of elimination, Jamal. We're gonna do some. Yeah, we're gonna play a game of baseball. 3 strikes, you out. I want you to focus right here. This right here. Who is this right here? Who's this man right here? Who do they say he is? Jesus, right? That's the image that's embedded in our brains. That's who we worship. That's the reason why you can walk down the street and look at your brother right here and you're ready to shoot him down.
That's right.
Because you don't see Christ in him.
Right.
You understand? So once we're going to go over this image. Hey, brother, what's your name, man?
Ambrose.
Ambrose?
You got
all praises. Come on up here, Ambrose.
Yeah, but I was asking him, so why, the black man seems like he struggle for everything, but the white man, all of them got everything. And then the only time we can get something is we got to have one of them over us or something, Because they was just like, we clear their own. I noticed in Louisville, every time a black, they own something, somewhere a white man is somewhere involved in what he can be.
Yeah. That's what we're going over. I'm going to answer your question right here. But what we're going to go over now, because Jamal thought that Christ is white. Do you know what color Christ is?
But I know now because we had a lady that did training. I'm a 7-day Adventist. We had a lady did
7-day Adventist?
She had one of the Israelite lady did her training through our pastor.
What you say your name was again? Ambrose.
And his name is Pastor Jock over here on Teller Boulevard.
Okay, listen up to this, Ambrose. We're going to go over the color of Christ in the scriptures.
Revelation chapter 1 and verse 1.
Bring it out.
The revelation of Jesus Christ.
So revelation means to reveal. What we're going to do right now is to reveal to you the color of Christ. Read.
Which God gave unto him to show unto his servants things which must certainly come to pass. And he sent and signified it by his angel unto his servant John.
So he's given the true image to John the Revelator. He's about to show you the true image of Christ. Read. Verse 14.
Verse 14. His head and his hairs were white like wool.
So Jamal, check this out. 3 strikes, right? He said his head and his hairs on his face were white like wool. What nation of people have woolly textured hair?
Hey.
You understand? That's us. That's you. You have the pure wool right there.
Bring it out.
You can't get no wool out of this. You understand? This is, I don't want to say it, but you know, it's kind of like straight monkey hair. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, goat hair like. So, this image right here, we're not saying that this is Christ, but this is a better depiction of him. You understand? So he said his head and his hairs was white like wool.
As white as snow, and his eyes were as a flame of fire.
So he said his eyes was as a flame of fire. So what do that mean? Do that mean he was like an X-Man, like he was like Cyclops? So when you read the Bible, you got to read the Bible precept upon precept, line upon line. That's how you're gonna get it. The Bible explains itself. What you get. All right, Jamal, you get a flyer?
Yes, sir. I got one.
All right, read that, man. So what you're gonna get, you're gonna find out. It explains itself. He said his eyes would be red like fire, red with fire, like fire, right? Read.
Genesis chapter 49 and verse 12. His eyes shall be red with wine, and his teeth white with milk.
So he said his eyes would be red with wine. Christ drank wine in moderation.
That's
you
right.
understand? So if you drink a little bit, the whites of your eyes is going to be red, right? Because, hey, Jesus' first miracle was what? Yeah, turning water into wine, right? All praises. Go back.
Revelation chapter 1 and verse 14. His head and his hairs were white like wool, as white as snow, and his eyes were as a flame of fire.
Because he drunk wine in moderation, right?
Verse 15, and his feet like unto fine brass, as if they burned in a furnace.
So he said, look, John the Revelator looked at Christ's feet. He said his feet was like unto fine brass. What color is brass? It's like a brown, right? And how dark that brown was, he said as if it burned in a fire. If you burn anything, white rice, a piece of toast in a fire, it's gonna be what? It's gonna be black. So where do we get this image? Where do we get this image from? Give me Matthew 24 and 4. Where do we get this image? Right here. Why is this image embedded in our brain? Why is this in all the churches? You understand? That's white supremacy. White supremacy. That's the reason why we got that image. Right. Just like I was telling Jamar, if he was to walk down the street and see you, he would be ready to shoot you if you looked at him crazy. Right. Because he didn't see Christ in you.
That's right.
But if we knew that this image right here was Christ, I would love you, bro. I would come up and give you a hug. You understand? Read.
Matthew chapter 24 and verse 4. And Jesus answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many.
Right.
So who deceived many? Right. Who came with this image and deceived many?
Take your piece out!
You understand?
Bring it out!
That man brought this image, this damn devil, and deceived many of our people.
That's right.
That's the reason. That's the answer to your question too. That's the reason why. But this is what we must do, man. We must realize who we are. You are an Israelite. You understand?
Right. Yeah.
And you said what? You are a 7-day Adventist, right? So what do you come up with that at? 7-day Adventist.
I don't know what it come up with.
Yeah, a white man gave you that. A white woman. A white woman gave you that. Yeah. So look. 7-day Adventists came from your oppressor, man. You understand? God never gave us religion.
That's why I asked him. I said, okay, so what did y'all do back then? So the white was separated from the black, and y'all fought with 7-day Adventists, and y'all went together?
Right. See, look, man, we smarter than that, man. And guess what? We can read now, master. You understand? We can read. We know who we are. So once we know who we are, God commanded us to come out and wake up the lost sheep.
That's right.
You are the lost sheep. Christ only came for you. You understand? Give me that Matthew 15:24, because Christ, hey, look. Christ didn't come for everybody. You understand?
Yeah.
You know where you get that from? This right here, Christianity.
Get out.
The same image. 7-day Adventists, all that Jehovah's Witness, you know what I'm saying, Baptists. They same rhetoric that Christ came for everybody. But when you read the Bible, God's words, let's listen to what God said.
Okay. Matthew chapter 15, verse 24.
Bring it out.
But he answered and said, I am not sent, but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
We used to scream black power while Heron was pushed. But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. IUIC has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission, minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road, purple and gold. From Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone. 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are our men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. IUIC, we deliver the truth.